Hey, fellow babies. Welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. If you are watching real time, that's because you're a Patreon patron. Thank you very much. Or you have linked your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. Thank you very much. Patronage costs money. If you've got it, we appreciate it. Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime costs you nothing, and everybody who's a Prime member should do it. Yes, you can link your Twitch account to your parents' Prime account, so please figure it out. It's in the instructions below. Our question for today comes from SIFTD from Burko. Now that we can confirm you were right about a streaming feature, what are your thoughts on the relationship between the platform holder and developers, publishers? Epic Game Store undercut Steam, but how do streaming agreements work? Does Google, Amazon, or Microsoft take a bigger cut since there is more to maintain on the back end, or they follow the traditional 70-30 split? It's a good question. I would bet that the split is a minimum of 65% of revenue paid to the publisher developer, and very likely 70. So I think 70-30 is probably an easy thing to sell publishers on. And what that means is that, and I'm just going to use $10 because it's easy. If you charge $10 a month, and Luna's $5.99, but we have no games are in there, and Stadia is $15. But if you charge $10, because the math's easy, $7 is available to pay out to all the publishers. And so what you do is you track the gameplay hours, right? You can do it on a per account basis, or you can do it on an aggregate basis. So let's just pretend they do it on an aggregate basis, and they measure and they say, okay, 10% of all hours were played, playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and therefore we have $7 times all the numbers of people who have subscribed. So we're going to pay 70 cents per subscriber for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and they pay that out to Ubisoft. And they'll have a minimum guarantee. So they will say to Ubisoft, if you put Valhalla on there, we'll pay you $5 million up front or $10 million up front, and we'll guarantee you $2 million a quarter, all the games being played or something. And where that came from is Netflix's original deal when it was streaming with Stars. And back in 2007, when they signed that deal, Netflix told the world that in the September quarter of 2007, when they launched streaming, like in April of 2007, in the September quarter, they said that 1 million Netflix subscribers streamed at least 15 minutes of content in the September quarter of 2007. So they went to Stars and they said, we'd like to pay you $30 million a year for the next 5 years, 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the metric they had was 1 million Netflix customers streamed anything. So Stars went, oh, we're going to get $30 million. So 30 million divided by 1 million. We're going to get $30 per account. And that divided by 12, that comes out to $2.50 a month. We only make $2 a month when people get Stars on their cable system. So $2.50, what a good deal. Where do we sign? And then 5 years later, Netflix had 25 million domestic streaming customers or more. And Stars said, oh, okay, the number is no longer 30 million a year. Now we want 300 million. And Netflix booted them off the system, said, no, thank you, we don't want it. So that's how the streaming services hope to get content from Ubisoft. We'll give you $5 million a quarter and put all your frontline games on there, and we'll have a Ubisoft channel. We'll give you 70%, and we'll take 30% for the back end. And Ubisoft says it's a good deal, but honestly, I don't think they sign up for 5 years. I think they sign up for 1, and they see if they're making any money. The big risk to the publishers is that the alternative is to sell the game for $60. So let's pretend that you want to play Grand Theft Auto. We know it's a great game. It's going to take you 200 hours to finish it, and it's going to be another 50 hours a month for the rest of your life playing GTA Online. So you're going to put 800 hours into this game the first year, right? Are you going to pay a subscription service so you can play GTA Online? Are you going to pay $10 a month for the rest of your life to play GTA Online? Or are you going to pay $60 and own the freaking game? And it's not 60, it's 20. Yes, you're going to buy the game. So the publishers are afraid, that they'll lose the game sale unless they get $10 a month. The consumer thinks $10 a month is too much because he wants to play the game and he can buy it for 60. So the only way any of these services work is if you can create a mismatch of expectations where the publisher thinks, I'm not going to sell as many units of this game and I'll get more people playing. And the consumer thinks, I'm going to get to enjoy the game for less than $60. And so the only examples of that subscription services that I've ever seen that work are when you have a delay in the delivery of the content, like HBO. That content is not brand new release movies. You don't get theatrical exhibition on HBO. You get movies that are a year old, and you're willing to pay up, $15 a month for those movies because you'd be renting them for $3 a piece. And the average person probably watches 2 movies a month on Netflix, but you get a bunch of TV shows, and $15 seems reasonable. People pay it. Spotify, another example. I probably bought between iTunes and CDs, $30 worth of music a year prior to Spotify convincing me to pay them $15 a month for the family plan. So I went from $30 to $180. And when I say 30, I mean my wife, my kids, and me combined. We literally probably bought 20 songs in one CD between all of us on downloads. The CD was for a gift. And now I have Spotify. And what happened? We were paying 6 times as much, and our music consumption went up 10 times as much because it's free, but it's not. You're paying $180. Everybody wins. I feel like I'm getting better value by paying 6 times as much, because I'm consuming 10 times as much. The record labels think they're getting value because I'm paying 6 times as much, and they don't care how long I listen. So it's good for everybody. So these streaming services will work if you bring in players who otherwise wouldn't buy games at all. And that's the rub. And that's where I think the business models are kind of odd. I don't think that charging a subscription is the winning formula. I think the winning formula is follow the movie model, which is theatrical exhibition, where essentially you're paying $10 per seat to view a 2-hour movie. And that's the equivalent of selling a game for $60, followed by, pay by the hour rental later, DVD sales or rental and VOD, followed by services like HBO, followed by all sorts of other distribution, commercial television and commercial broadcast and streaming video on demand. I think that the streaming services fit somewhere in that continuum, which is why I'm convinced Amazon's going to have a console and you're going to play games and it's going to be downloaded to your client, to your home. Its multiplayer is going to work great. It's going to have great graphic fidelity, and they're going to charge you $60. And they're going to undercut the PlayStation and Xbox stores by 10 percentage points. And the publishers are going to love them for doing that. They're going to make Apple lose its lawsuit to Epic. And then they're going to say, if you don't want this console, you can just do Luna. Or if you want both, Luna will throw a Luna subscription in. So you can buy it and you can buy a game, or you can play catalog titles on Luna or both, just like Game Pass. You can buy new games like FIFA, or you can play Xbox first party on Game Pass and a bunch of catalog. That's the winning formula. So answer, yes, 70-30 split until Apple loses to Epic and or Amazon competes directly with Sony and Microsoft and cuts that fee to 20. That's it for today's Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. If you're on via Patreon, thank you for your contributions. If you have linked your Twitch and your Amazon Prime accounts, thank you very much. If you're following me on Twitter at Michael Pachter, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.